Got about a minute. We'll see if Mr. Hoffman gets here in that minute, and if not, my name is Mark Sweeland, and I'll be the acting chairman of the board of the zoning board tonight. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, formal notification is that all these proceedings are being done in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act compliance. Public notification of the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting has been published in compliance with the Freedom of Information Act requirements. Okay, a review of the minutes from the last zoning board from actually 28 April was the last time we all met. So any comments from the board? Any modifications? So I hear a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Seconded?
Second.
Passed. Okay, tonight we have three cases to hear. The first one being 510 Rebo Road. Property is identified as Romeo 120-003-000 535 Alpha 000. Special acceptance applicant Alicia Hart. The city would like to go ahead and present.
Good evening, Vice Chairman, members of the board. Nick Navia, Planner 1 with the City of Beaufort. I'll be presenting the staff report for 510 Rebo Road. So it's a special exception request for Alicia D. Hart, who's the owner and the applicant. The request is for a special exception approval for her home occupation business, heart-to-heart therapy. On the slide here is just the location of the property there on Rebo Road. And then here's the location of the property with the zoning districts overlaid. This property is zoned T4N, it's the T4 neighborhood district. It's in the flood zone X. It's approximately 0.3 acres in size, about 13,000 square feet. And as you can see, pretty much all the adjacent zoning is a mix of the T4, which is in the blue, kind of there along Rebo Road. And then in the yellow, it is the T3N zoning district, which is mostly residential. The T4 is a mix of residential and commercial uses allowed. Here's just a street view of the property in question. You're looking west at the property there. Here's another picture. There's a carriage house / ADU there in the rear of the property where you'll want to confirm with the applicant, but I believe that is where this home occupation will actually be occurring, in that guest house. But so to get into the background of the request, so as stated, it's for the therapy business. The applicant is a South Carolina state licensed therapist and therapist supervisor. The business would entail providing therapy services to clients at the residence and provide training to a student / associate that the applicant would be supervising. Due to this student / associate being a non-resident, this is what kicks in the home occupation from a minor to a major, which as part of the procedure for a major home occupation is this meeting here today to receive approval by special exception. And this is stated in code section 332 D2B. And so if we look at section 332, it's the The broad section is just the standards for residential uses. So again, this property is the residential house of the applicant. This home occupation would be a secondary use. 332D1 includes the home occupation minor requirements, then 332D2 is the major, and then D2B is where it states that these are strictly permitted by the special exception process. And so for special exceptions, there's 6 review criteria that the board and staff looks at to determine if this will be an approval or a denial. So I'll just go through the 6 real quick. So the first one is that the proposed uses are compatible with existing land uses in the surrounding area. Our staff analysis is that the home occupation request with the property being located right on Rebo Road is an appropriate and compatible use with the surrounding area. Again, aside from just the one student supervisee, this would have been a minor home occupation, which would have received approval administratively by staff. So it's compatible use. Second one is that the harmony of the proposed site plan, circulation plan, schematic architectural designs of the character with the character of the surrounding area. This request, there's no changes to that. That's not really applicable here. The third is that the likely impact on public infrastructure, roads, parking facilities, water and sewer systems, et cetera, won't be negatively impacted by this use. There's going to be no impact on public infrastructure. The only thing to note with the parking is that there is parking spaces on site for the applicant, for the supervisee, and also for a client. It's off-site parking. Of course, it's not on Rebo Road, but the parking will be accommodated for on site. The fourth is the general conformity of the proposed use with the Beaufort Civic Master Plan and the Beaufort Comprehensive Plan. Again, this one, the special exception approval wouldn't conflict with the comprehensive plan or the Civic Master Plan. This providing owners an opportunity to provide an important and useful service to the area is in line with the overall intentions of the Civic Master Plan and Comprehensive Plan. The fifth item is the likely impact on public health and safety. Again, there is no impact on, well, actually, there's a positive impact, if anything, on public health and safety due to the business being a therapy service that is, a valuable service to provide to the community. And then the final one is the potential creation of noise, lights, fumes, dust, smoke, et cetera, or other injurious or obnoxious. Home occupation won't be doing any of that. So, all that being said, our staff recommendation is I have. My apologies.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Ms. Hart, do you have any comments? Step up to the podium, please.
Just that I love Beaufort and I'm glad to be here. Just moved here. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, is there anything you want to ask me about what we do?
I did have one quick question.
Sure.
In the application, my understanding is that it's limited to one student or associate. Is that right, at a time?
If that's what you guys tell me, because I'm available to up to 8 according to the licensure board.
Okay. No, that was the reason I was asking.
But-
On the last page, it said student slash
Yeah.
associates.
Yes, I have one that moved to the area that asked for supervision. So it's a state requirement for her to be under a supervisor for 2 years before she can be fully licensed. So,
I mean, I think under the terms of the code for a major, it's limited to 2 employees who are not residents.
okay, yes, sir. Thank you.
Right, you could read that in the code. It's very clear in the code that states that. It's very clear in the code that states that it's limited to just 2.
Yes, sir. Okay.
I have a question. Okay,
Okay.
I have a
Thank you.
question.
Sure.
Then that there will be student under your supervision.
Yes, sir.
Would that student, would your supervision be at the facility all the time the student is there?
I'm not always there, but I have to be always available by phone, not in the room with her.
So it's
Yes.
kind of like a nurse practitioner who is under the supervision of a physician, doesn't have to be in the office, but has to be available.
Somewhat, yes, but I'm next door, so,
Okay,
yeah.
that's fine.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you, Ms. Hart.
Okay, thank you.
Any public comment? Anything coming in, Sean?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, I will go ahead and make a motion that we pass this as requested.
A second.
All in favor? All opposed? All right, passed, no problem. Thank you very much. Okay, the next one we have on the agenda is 2802 Broom Lane, and Mr. Hoffman will take over now.
Good evening, everyone. My apologies for being a little bit late. 2802 Broom Lane, the applicant is requesting, I believe, a variance from section 2.41.1.B6 for 2419. Oh, wait, a minute, I'm sorry. To expand an existing 6-foot fence under section 5.8.2A. Property is further identified as R120-006-000-0255-000 in the tax records, zone T3 suburban district.
Yes, sir. Dear Chairperson, Chairman, members of the board, my name is Christopher Clement. I'm a planner 3 with the city. So 2802 Broom Lane is located in the Royal Oaks neighborhood, and it has, if you look at the location, it's where that pin is pointed. It's located at the corner of Broom Lane and Battery Creek Road. The zoning district for this parcel is T3S, which means it's T3 suburban district, which is a low density, single family zoning district. It kind of the character of that, the neighborhood is low single family residential for the most part, all along Battery Creek Road as well. Looking at pictures of the property, we see the dwelling unit here off of fronting Broom Lane. Looking at the corner, it is a very sharp corner. It's kind of an irregular shaped lot because of the curvature of the road, Battery Creek Road there. Looking at Battery Creek from the south to an existing section of a 6-foot high privacy fence that has been installed by the previous property owner. And basically the request by the current property owner's family, Jans, I hope I pronounced that. Jans, okay, Jans, there we go, is to extend that existing 6-foot fence section along Battery Creek Road to basically ensure for safety, security, and privacy. The previous owner has kind of thinned out the vegetation, so the screening from that is kind of diminished. That is basically the background. If you know Battery Creek Road, it serves as a neighborhood collector road. It gets very busy at times. So there's traffic, there's noise. So the request tonight is a variance from section 5.882A. We have revised the section, so anything pertaining to fencing is now in section 5.8. The specific section that we're looking at is basically where it talks about the fencing height along front or street side setbacks, which can only be up to 4 feet in height. So the request today is for a variance off of that maximum 4 feet to basically extend that already in place 6-foot high privacy fence. Here's a survey plat of the subject property that was provided. You can kind of tell where they would like to expand that fence to, which is that highlighted blue section right there. So when we look at the development code and findings, we go through 6 rationales to kind of look at if this variance request qualifies or not. So basically, number 1 is, are there extraordinary or exceptional conditions in place pertaining to the property that would justify the variance request based on topographic or other special conditions? We say yes, there is. The lot is, as you have seen, irregularly shaped by the right of way of Battery Creek Road. The side of the house, if I go back to the pictures, you can see it's kind of very close to the road. You can not see it from here because of that, existing fence, but basically, once the previous property owner kind of thinned out that vegetation, it sits very close to the road. Another exceptional condition pertaining to this property is that there's already a 6-foot section of privacy fence in place. Then number 2, do these conditions generally apply to other properties in the vicinity? Yes, they do. If we look around the neighborhood, Mossy Oaks, Royal Oaks neighborhoods along Battery Creek Road, you will find several instances, examples of properties with that same kind of 6-foot high privacy fence in place, especially when they front, Battery Creek, just as this property does. C, the conditions are not the result of the applicant's own actions. Staff says, yes, that's true. Because of the platting, because of the irregular shape of the property, the lot along Battery Creek Road, that is true. D, the variance would not conflict with the comprehensive plan, the civic master plan of the city of Beaufort, and the purposes and the intent of this code. Yes, staff says it does. This does qualify because the overall character of the neighborhood would not be impacted, disrupted by this fence. Staff also says, or our opinion is that as a property owner, you should have the right to screen and protect your property from such nuisances from that busy road, for example, the noise, and so forth. So number E, the application of this code to the property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. Not necessarily. F, the variance will not be a substantial detriment to adjacent property or the public good and the character of the zone. So the district itself would not be harmed. Staff would say, yes, that is true. There are no negative, impacts to either the value or the usage to adjacent properties through granting of this fencing. So in summary, our recommendation would be to approve their variance request and to allow them to extend the existing 6-foot high privacy fence to, and I've kind of marked it up to that site triangle. So not all the way to the corner, but basically to where they have drawn it into the map to kind of reserve that site triangle for traffic safety purposes when, cars are coming out of Broom Lane trying to, look into Battery Creek Road to make that right-hand turn and so forth. Of course, that would kind of impede on that safety, that triangle there. So that would be our recommendations to you. Do you have any questions? No, okay, thank you.
I'm looking at the survey.
Yes.
And that corner, would a fence of some type, not along the property line, but maybe cutting in a little bit to give some definition to the fence, be objectionable to the city or to the applicant? It just looks like it's a wall just standing out there in the middle of nowhere.
You mean the existing fence that? that would
No,
be here?
the extension.
Okay,
With the existing, it's gonna be a long fence.
yeah. Well,
It was brought up about just having privacy on a busier road, so they would want to extend the fence so it would,
No,
right?
I'm just thinking aesthetics.
Well, I think that the aesthetics of a 4-foot fence would be the same. It's gonna be a big, long fence. It's just gonna be 2 feet shorter. Right?
That's true.
They're not cutting off the corner,
Yeah, you can.
you know,
that's the
I
main
mean,
thing.
he's got it limited from the corner by about 10, 15 feet. So even an 18-wheeler trying to get down around that corner isn't gonna have an issue.
Being one who has a fence on their property, I cannot sit here and say, no. I mean,
Okay.
I understand that Battery Creek is, in many respects, almost as bad as Reebok Road. Reebok Road at times.
I think the, the case here is because the house is located so close to actually that side of Battery Creek Road. Just because of the shape of the lot makes it so much more.
I understand.
And if you look at that, the lines here, you can kind of tell how the house sits closer to actually Battery Creek than, you know, the southeast rather than the northwest. They have more room up there, of course, but yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah. All right.
Property owner have any comments?
I don't think we have any. And we really don't, well, you know, we just would appreciate the privacy. So thank you for hearing our case. We appreciate
I've
it.
got a quick question for you. I've driven by there.
Okay.
Looks like you've already got it well underway and just kind of got busted.
Well, actually that we didn't know at the time. So that was where what happened.
Yeah.
And so we stopped the construction. We did go back and talk with the city to get the approval to fix the white portion, you know, to do the repairs on that part because it was looking pretty decrepit and was deteriorated. So yeah.
Yeah, it looks very good what you've done so far.
Well, thank you.
And I
And
assume,
our neighbors are here to support us too, several.
and I assume the new section will be match the existing.
Yes, yeah. I mean, because our whole intent was to improve the property.
Yeah. Are you gonna paint it white?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to paint it white?
No,
That's your old one?
no, we're gonna do it natural.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Even better. Any other questions?
There are none online.
I actually have a question for staff. So we're citing 5.8.2. Just want to make sure that that's correct. I may have an outdated version of the code, but
Yeah, it's 5.8.2A is basically the fencing height along front or street side setbacks.
Okay.
That's,
so I just need
Along
an
the-
updated code. Because mine plus the lighting.
I know, yeah, we have updated the code. I think when was it, like 2 months ago, 3 months ago? So since you guys met in April, it kind of fell in between. Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure that if we approve it, we're approving the right thing. So
yes, sir. Mhm.
Anyone else? Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve this. Oh, public comment?
Anyone in the public wish to comment? Please state your name, address.
My name is Matthew Zorn, and I'm at 910 Battery Creek Road, and I'm the Janssens neighbors. I'm actually right behind them, and I just wanted to say that the fence, it looks really nice, but also that they need their privacy with the 6-foot fence. So,
Thank you. Anyone else in the public? Anyone on Zoom?
no,
On
sir.
Facebook?
No, sir.
Okay. Public hearing is closed. Anyone, any comments? Motion?
I make a motion, we approve this.
I second said motion.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, whoop,
Yeah, I think, I agree, but I also think that we need to clarify that if we're gonna pass this, that condition E, we think it has been met for purposes of the review.
okay, so the motion will reflect that the conditions have been met as required by 5.8.2A.
Right, that basically rather than saying no, that
Right.
that it wouldn't, yeah.
Noted.
Everyone agree? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. We look forward to your beautiful fence. What I thought. Next on the agenda is 2419 Hermitage Road. Applicant is requesting a variance from section 2.4.1B6 to build an attached garage with second floor living space in front of the primary structure. The property is further identified as R120-005-000-0063. 000. Property is zone T3 Suburban District. And I want to take a look at something. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I'll be presenting again 2419 Hermitage Road. So just to jump right into it, the applicant is requesting a variance from code section 241B6, which is the section in our transect-based setbacks and mostly the setbacks, lot coverage requirements, et cetera. The specific code section requires attached garages to be set back a minimum of 5 feet from the front facade of the main house. The intent behind this is to prevent kind of a garage forward kind of design. So as mentioned, the zoning district is T3S. On the slide, we've got the location there off Hermitage Road. And again, here's the location with the zoning districts. Everything in red is T3S, which is that low density zoning district. Here's just a street view of 2419 Hermitage Road. Here's another one just a bit closer. Here's another one that shows some overhead power lines, which will be relevant to this application further down. And so just to provide a bit more background information to the project and how this came to the board. So the applicant submitted a project permit application back on September 18th of this year, requesting a new attached garage with second floor living space. It would not be a full ADU since there's no kitchen, but it would entail, a bathroom, and, a den, a room, a living room. Upon our review of this application, it was determined that the proposal is not in conformance from the aforementioned code section regarding the garage's placement. Now, there is a exception already in the code. It's section 254A for precisely this kind of design that the applicant is proposing. However, this exception is specifically for waterfront lots. This type of design is very common for waterfront lots. However, this lot, of course, is not a waterfront lot. And so if we just go through some of the more of the slides, here are houses, if you just go east along Hermitage Road, I think this is the immediate neighbor or the one over. You can kind of see the rhythm of the houses and how they were placed when they were originally created. Here's some more homes, just again, down Hermitage Road. And this last one actually is a good example of the essentially the type of design that we try to see and encourage in the city for these lots, where you have a garage set back behind the house as opposed to in front of it. So here's just some more background information. There's the plat with the proposed garage fully in front of the house. I believe the front facade of the garage is set 34 feet in front of the front facade of the house. You can see in the rear, there's a shed and another accessory structure. And so hopping into the 6 variance review criteria that the board and staff looks at for these requests. The staff opinion is that essentially none of these are being met with this request. So I'll just run through them. Actually, before I go through those, I just want to provide the applicant's reference properties here. As you can see, 2419 is there. The applicant did provide examples of the design that they're going for with these garages being set forth in front of the house. So there's the first one, and there's the second, and then there's the third. But again, as stated, these are waterfront lots which are explicitly allowed. 2419 is not. So for the first finding of fact, if there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property, in this case, no, the subject property is a standard square lot with an existing 1-story dwelling structure. The provided survey, there's mention in the applicant's request, there's mention of the Dominion Energy owning the power lines there on the right-hand side. And that there's a 15-foot easement in place. From what was submitted to staff, the survey, the lot doesn't show any easement. So if that's the case, we would need to see some sort of documentation asserting that. So the second finding of fact, if these conditions do not generally apply to other properties in the vicinity. Also know the applicants provided examples, as I showed just now, of houses in the area with a similar design are all waterfront lots, which again are explicitly allowed per code section 254A for waterfront lots. For all other landlocked lots like 2419 Hermitage Road, this condition would also apply to them as well. The conditions are not the result of the applicant's own actions. Again, the proposal is the result of the applicant, attempting to construct it in a manner that is not in conformance with the Beaufort Code. It's staff's opinion that there is space for alternative placement. This isn't the one and only spot that would be able to accommodate a garage. There's space in the rear. There's space on the side of the house. So going into the next one, the granting of the variance will not substantially conflict with the comprehensive plan, the civic master plan. Realistically, both of these don't really look at kind of this more minute level of review. However, with that being said, the overall intent, design-wise at least, of these documents does, and of just the Beaufort Code, does discourage this type of design for any lots that aren't waterfront lots. And you can find various references, attesting to this type of design philosophy in chapters 2 and 4 of the Development Code. So the fifth one, because of these conditions, the application of this code to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. Again, no, staff believes that there is space for alternative placement of the garage. There's about 34.7 feet from the side of the house to the east property line and about 40 feet from the rear of the house to the rear property line. And assume if there is if there is an easement, a utility easement for those overhead power lines, that's 15 feet. That would still leave approximately 20 feet from that side of the house for placement. That may entail, minor modification of the size of the garage, but the staff believes there is space for alternatives. And then finally, for the last one, the authorization of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent property or the public good, and the character of the zone will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. So again, also no, we don't think it's being met. As stated, the code discourages this type of design of garages in front of the houses except for waterfront lots. As shown in the kind of example houses along Hermitage Road, you can kind of see that it's all very similar, smallish one-story structures set back relatively far from the front property line. And a two-story garage set completely in front of the house would definitely alter the character of the area and the neighborhood. So with all that being said, staff recommendation is to deny the variance request, just for the fact that the review criteria that we just went over, staff believes are not being met. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Any questions of staff before we open public comment?
Thank you.
The hearing is now open for public comment. Anyone wish to address the board? State your name and address.
I'm Brian Qualls, 75 Haynes Road, Seabrook. I'm taking my brother's place. He normally does this stuff, but he's not able to do that. And he did a great job, and I see all those no's. That's kind of scary a little bit, but it wasn't 100% accurate. And I do have the documentation with me for the power line, but Dominion, we wanted to build a garage on the side correctly, and then we realized the power lines are an issue. So Dominion wants a 15-foot setback or easement. So we moved it forward, not knowing the rule or whatever the term is. And there is no other place to put it. The left side of the house, you could pull up the survey. Okay, oh, you guys are doing that? I thought they were just, okay, the left side has a measurement, what is it, 17 feet or something? Yeah, plus, then you have your setback. There's no room for a garage. The back is the same. And there's just nowhere else to put it. Now, I have a question. If that wasn't a garage, is that a issue? There's no rule on it. It doesn't even look like a garage if you look at it, but it is. There's a photograph. You mind? I'm sorry, I don't want to touch it. There's a photograph of a garage with two doors facing the road. It's hideous. It won't look anything like that. You saw the pictures. Left or right? Well, so that's approved because it's the waterfront, I understand. But our building will look way better than that. It won't even look like a garage. I went out and measured, and I don't know 100% I'm just getting into this project, but it's 48 feet back from the road to the front of that build or addition. So it sits way back. It's not like right up on the road. I don't really understand the rule, why you want the garages back, but I guess it's for looks, right? Well, our project looks good. It's gonna enhance the property. I know it doesn't comply with the rule. That's why we're coming to you. There's nowhere else to put it. My homeowners want this space and they want to improve the property, and I don't really know. Do you have any questions?
Now, if you go back to the survey,
Yeah.
we could do that. You said Dominion has a 15-foot power easement, which they probably do.
They do, yes.
They have an easement over all of South Carolina, basically, where they want it. But you have 19 feet as drawn, and if you went to the back, even more. And you could have a driveway over that 15 feet. It's just you can't put a house there, but you certainly could put
A narrow-
drive or something
You
like
mean
that.
beside the house? Are you talking about beside the house?
I'm talking about behind, beside is 22 feet, and it would still leave 19 feet. The problem that this board has is the exceptions are very specific. The reason the homes that you listed have garages in front are because they are
Right.
waterfront homes. And even then, they still have code provisions that they have to adhere to, even though they are, even though they do have a garage in front, there are still restrictions on that. I'm looking at, I don't see under the code where we have any variance at all. Anybody comment? You don't see
You know,
it?
the only thing I could see would be taking that proposed garage and putting it behind between the shed on the right and the house itself with that 4-foot breezeway there, and placing that garage back there. You could have the driveway coming up on that side of the house with plenty of room. And then you could load the garage from that side facing that larger of the two sheds.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. Does the garage have to be attached because you already have two accessory structures? Is that the case?
I don't know. I think we just want it attached, right? Just so you don't go outside into the,
So you're gonna, I mean, you've got a front door, you're gonna create another door there? Are you
it's
gonna-
all enclosed.
Well, I'm
Um,
looking at the front elevation, there's no door there where the garage is, so I guess you have to create a door.
Yes.
Yeah.
mhm, that'll be tied to the house. I have the
I just
plan.
feel like, I mean, there's plenty of room on the side for a garage. Math goes 37.4 less 22 is 15.4. Like, 0.4 is not much, but you know, it'll fit.
What width garage? I'm sorry.
22,
Okay,
which is perfectly fine for a 2-car garage.
okay.
I mean, 2 8-foot doors and, you know, 2 foot between them.
All right.
The 4.33 is on the inside of the house though, I believe. So the math,
Yeah, so that would knock the setback down from 19 to 19 less, whatever. It's 37.4 and it's 22 feet wide. That leaves 15.4.
well, the 22 is the front and that's the
I
4.
was talking
Right,
about
it's 22
22
plus,
would be plenty wide for a 2-car garage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's not 20. 4 feet into the house.
I understand that. I'm talking garage, front facing, pulled back.
You want to comment or anything on something? Can they,
Yeah, please.
Good evening. My name's Dan Powers. I live at the property. Yeah, I just want to reiterate, the 15 feet is from the line. And then it does leave about, 19 feet. Okay, we don't want it attached to the house, so we need 2 or 3 feet for an attached, a walkway, passageway. And for example, one of my cars is 17 feet long. Okay, and we have 2 that we'd like to put in there. So there's really there's really no room on the side. The back, we do already have a shed there and everything. There is some trees back there. But we tried to fit it in there, but then Dominion told us, there's no, we've got the 15 feet back there. So we did move it forward, not knowing about the ruling. And then when we found out, we did the best we could to sort of fit it in there, including turning it sideways. So that, because it's 22 feet square is the garage space plus a 4-foot stairwell to go upstairs. So we turned it sideways and added windows to the front, what do you call an umbrella awning to break up the front, make it look more like a home. And then the garage door will be facing the other way. Where the property line is, where the easement is, there's a big hedge so that it sort of covers it in the back there. And then you do have the garage facing towards the front of the house. And then you have the house. So I plan later on putting in some sort of a driveway. So, I mean, as far as aesthetics, I'm trying to make it look like a sort of a courtyard kind of thing, like the houses in the other photos you've seen. As I said, there's really no other room. I mean, even if you have 2 cars side by side, yeah, you can squeeze them in to 15 feet. But then you can barely open the doors and stuff like that. And I was hoping to have a little bit extra space around the vehicles, for, the usual garage stuff, tools and counter and stuff like that. It's still almost 50 feet to the street from the structure. And yeah, it is attached. We did want it so that you could walk between them. Originally, we had it coming out the side, but that didn't work. So anyway, that's and the proximity of the other houses is close. I know they're waterfront. We're not waterfront, but we were just, and all I can see, it would, I think it would, be compatible and actually aesthetically nicer. I know, there's the setback rule, but I was just hoping that we could, move around that. Is there any questions?
I have a comment. If you all were able to put the garage on the back side of the property, are those sheds permanent and in the way, or could you somehow incorporate the garage to get rid of one of the sheds to give you ample room and space
Can
to
move the
redesign?
sheds, but it would be, it would not be easy. There is a little bit of flooding back there too. We've tried to address that, but we haven't had any luck with that. But there's a couple of palm trees back there. So really, this is the best we could come up with. And like I said, we've tried to, after we found out about the setback rule, we tried to, just make it, like I said, as appealing, for want of a better word, or, but I want it to be practical too. The cars, like I said, you got a 17-foot car, 17-foot truck. You want some space around it. I don't want the cars just stuffed in there. I did want a little tiny bit of workspace, some shelves or something like that. Like I said, we did turn it sideways because, I think because it actually, Anyway, it was either wider, the best way I could come up with was to turn the garage sideways so that instead of, we have a horseshoe driveway now, it would be a J. And, yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
It just seems there would be a way to continue working with your builder to redesign, even though you're gonna be making changes to your lot, that it would then be conforming to your neighborhood, and you wouldn't be really having to ask for any variances if you all, now that you kind of know the process and what this board is designed to do and protect.
I understand,
neighborhoods.
but we just, the house is 1,000 square feet. We're just trying to add to it. And we just slowly started running out of options, so we moved it to the front. And then we found out about the setback ruling, so we're just trying to, apply for that. Anything else?
You have anything else?
No, sir, unless you have anything else.
Anyone else? No one else? Anyone
Online?
on
No.
Zoom, online?
No, sir.
Public hearing is closed. Comments? Do I hear a motion?
Yeah, I'll enter a motion to deny based off of, not meeting the criteria for approval.
The motion is that the application be denied because it does not meet the requirements for approval pursuant to section two, 2.4.1C3. Correct?
No, B6. 2.4.1.B6.
Correct.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. The application is denied. There being no further business.
Just three things.
Oh, hello, Kurt.
Just news items. We did update a number of sections of the code, so I think we should probably print those out for you, although we're updating more. B, we had scheduled December 17th, a Wednesday, for your next meeting because the Christmas holiday, obviously, and Hanukkah is December, and that would be to December 22nd. So the thought was the 17th would be better. Is that okay? Because you will have at least one case for next month. It's December
Works for
17th,
me.
a Wednesday, 5:30, work for everybody? Okay.
So-
And
I might be in a fishing tournament, I don't know, but we go with the weather.
okay,
I think should be okay. but-
okay. Well, and unless there's a better day for you, it's just, the Monday I know is taken and the Tuesday I think is taken, so the Wednesday is open,
5:30?
5:30. And then finally, we sent you a, kind of an explanation, Christopher put it together about, the continuing education. I know, Mr. Moore, you're exempt because you're an attorney, but, so often you might be exempt yourself, actually, but, just if anybody hasn't finished it, it should be finished by the end of the year, if you can. So.
I have a question. So if we deny a variance and the homeowner basically ignores that, what is the process? Does that go to
It depends on the case.
zoning?
like, like this, they can't get a building permit for, and so we can stop work on a building permit and, basically prevent them from building anymore. That's pretty clear cut. Now, if it's a fence, we can put a stop work order on it, but it's a fence. So if they keep putting it up, then we would put in a.
I was looking at.
It would
the
go to the
minutes.
court.
I was looking at the minutes from the last meeting. And the staircase that we denied, even though it was built. When I drove by the property maybe a month ago, that staircase was still there.
Okay. I thought that they had changed it. I thought they had made it compliant right after the meeting. They made some changes.
Maybe they did.
Yeah, They did, yeah.
You think they
They
did?
moved, I'm almost, yeah, I'm 100% sure they did, yeah. We were a little bit frustrated why they just didn't do that in the first place instead of wasting all of our time. So anyway, yes. No, we're online.
Do I hear a motion?
To adjourn?
Yep.
All right, December 17th.